Citi Field and sweep the Toronto Blue Jays to get their 2025 home season started as we welcome you to episode number 65 of the Queen's Connection. I'm your host, Andrew Patton, joined by the co-host, Corne Hogavine. And Corne, pretty good series overall for the New York Mets. Maybe some things at times that were not so sexy, but you end the games with wins. That's really what it's all about.
Definitely a good first home series for the Mets. A good home series for the fans. I think the ballpark was pretty packed for a 3-game series, especially in the cold weather. So I think that's great to see. It's something that we didn't always love in recent years. So it's good. It's a good start for them too. It's a good start for the Mets. 6-3 right now, so I think you could be pretty pleased, especially after a 1-2 start, that we are now at 6-3. So nothing but good vibes right now for the New York Mets.
Yeah, if we want to do a standings watch at the moment, the Mets are currently in second place in the National League East with that 6-3 record, only a game behind the Phillies, one game up on the Miami Marlins, who they welcome to Citi Field tonight. We'll get to that, of course, at the end of this episode. But let's go back and look at this Blue Jays series. So obviously, the home opener Friday, they shut out the Jays. Saturday night in the kind of game you were alluding to, the cold weather, the rain, mist, whatever, they still had a recorded attendance of 37,000 people, so really good crowd there to see them come back and beat the Jays 3-2. And then Sunday it was capped off a 2-1 win. Once again, I think in that game the bullpen was the highlight, but 3 games against the Jays all had their own unique way of how it transpired. What was the thing that stuck out to you the most from these last 3 games against Toronto?
It's starting pitching doing not going very deep, but doing just enough, and then the bullpen has been so tremendous overall. I think the Mets will have a good bullpen. Obviously, it's unreasonable to think that this bullpen will be this good. I think that's probably not going to happen. So at some point, the offense has to do a little bit more. I think we don't score a lot of runs. We missed some opportunities, especially in the Saturday game. Luckily, at the end, we did get some runs, but that was a game where missed opportunities were definitely part of the first 7 innings of that game. So overall, but to say overall, it's the pitching. The starting pitching has been solid, and the bullpen, I think, is the big strength for this team. Obviously with the offense, but I think overall pitching side, the bullpen is really good. It's a deep bullpen, and everybody is doing their thing right now. Maybe besides Danny Young, but overall, I think all the other guys are doing really, really well. Also, the guys who can pitch multiple innings. I think that's Rosenbaum, Buto, Kranich are money for us, but also, the elite guys, so to speak, the back of the bullpen guys are having a good start of the year. So the bullpen has been money for this team, and I believe that the bullpen will stay money for this team. And it's part of the reason why I think this starting rotation will be fine, because it doesn't need to be perfect.
Yeah, I think that's a good call. Obviously, I think a lot of people are pleased with how the bullpen has produced, especially maybe those guys who have claimed the 7, 8, 9 spot, pardon me, 6, 7, 8 spot in the bullpen. The guys you referred to, and particularly Brazapon and Max Kranich, and Kranich was called upon maybe on short notice, almost in yesterday's game with Peterson coming out because wasn't feeling too great according to Carlos Mendoza. But he came in and did his job. Um, I still really like what I see from Max Kranich. That was probably one of my bigger takeaways. And like it's interesting because you figure, um, he pitches Friday, the home opener. I think he pitched the final two innings, maybe it was three. I'll pull up the box score here, but he threw some pitches on Friday. He has one day of rest, and he's getting called back in to try to give the Mets some length, and he did that. Kranich did pitch 2 innings opening day for the Mets, so pitches uh, 3 in the third, I believe, in this series against the Toronto Blue Jays, and looked really, really good. Obviously, the jam he came into when he relieved David Peterson and didn't allow anything to come around to get that final out. So, Max Kranick has definitely been a bright spot for this team, and it makes it interesting for when they, like kind of what we talked about. I think it was in our last episode when Daniel Nunez they feel is ready. Kranick's a guy that has options, but he's also one of those guys where you might be doing the bullpen a disservice if you take him out of there. So, um, once again, roster construction. Um, it's obviously a lot of people, but David Stern should get the credit for it because he's created all this depth and has put this team in a spot where they do have to make difficult decisions on people because they're performing well.
Yeah, luckily Max Granick didn't get picked by 29 other teams last year when the Mets DFA'd him. So we are lucky that we still have him, that he went to AAA, and that he now is a valuable part of this Mets bullpen. Had a good stretch last year in AAA after he became a reliever. He struggled a bit when he was a starter. So he really, blossomed in this role, even in AAA, and now he's showing that in the majors. And obviously, it's a small sample size, but I think the value, like you said, is there with a guy who can give you multiple innings. I think Danny Young isn't that type of guy. So to me, if I would make a decision right now, it's definitely Max Granick over Danny Young. And I also think you see that in how the arms are used. Danny Young is kind of being used like that last man in the bullpen, only using him when you desperately need him. So to me, that shows that he is probably the odd man out. And it also provides a roster spot, a 40-man roster spot. So who knows what you are able to do with a free roster spot? Maybe claim a guy somewhere that could help you for the rest of the year.
Yeah, it could create some more flexibility for this roster. There's no doubt about that. If that's the decision that Stearns and the Mets decide to go in, um, I thought I want to talk about Griffin Canning because I thought his start was interesting because I thought he was like and, you look at it, 4 innings, the 3 walks and stuff like that. He did have 6 strikeouts, I believe. I thought he looked a lot better than maybe what the innings might have dictated. There were at times I think the thing that got him was sometimes when he did have 2 strikes, the Jays were fouling off pitches. They increased his pitch count, and it kind of forced the Mets hand to take him out. But I thought this was another good start by Griffin Canning, and um, once again, a lot of slider usage, a lot of changeup usage. I thought maybe the fastball usage was a little bit up. I don't have the numbers, but it seemed like he was throwing more fastballs in this outing, particularly up in the zone. So I thought this was another good start by Griffin Canning, and if you're not a believer in the Mets pitching lab, um, you might need to start believing in it.
Yeah, and Jeremy Hefner and his team. I mean, they do a great job. Again, it's early in the season, and I'm not going to sit here right now and say that Griffin Canning will be a hit. But right now, Griffin Canning is an important part of our rotation with some injuries, and right now he's just pitching well. He's doing what he can. Yes, the innings, 4 innings was a little bit, you know, less as you obviously want. He also said that in the post game that he wasn't necessarily really happy with his outing because he went just 4 innings and he wanted to do a better job for a bullpen that is heavily used. I mean, we cannot deny that like you said, that Max Granite came in. It's a pretty heavily used bullpen, so hopefully he can go a little bit deeper into the game. But overall, I have one at bat that I wrote down, and that's the at bat in the fourth inning against George Springer. And you saw that hitters are sitting off speed or secondary pitches against him and getting to a fastball inside. It was a little bit up and inside, but it wasn't as severe as George Springer made it look like because George Springer was falling down because it was up and in, but it wasn't that much up. And to me, that showed that hitters aren't sitting on that inside fastball, but they are sitting on more the slider, moving away from Springer. So I think that was a telling at bat where you could look that Griffin Canning right now with his pitch use is using more of the slider, can throw his fastball inside more to keep hitters honest there, and it would be really helpful for him if he can command that on the inside corner. Didn't have it that good in this outing. I think it could improve on that. But if he can find that inside corner with the fastball, I think it would be a major help for him, and he will probably get a lot of called strikes there on the inside corner with his fastball. So his difference of using his pitches already shows that he can utilize his fastball different ways than he probably did in his Angels time. So good to see that. That was for me was a very telling impact.
Yeah, I like what he said in the post game too, along with a lot. He's actually like a really he's a smart guy. If you actually listen to like his post game, like he gets it, and he was even talking about how um maybe the kind of stuff that you were just saying about teams are maybe going to start sitting on slider changeup and stuff like that. So you have to adjust and incorporate some more fastballs perhaps or something like that. And obviously we know the staff he's around is a very smart staff, so they'll make the adjustments when teams start to adjust and make Griffin Canning just a more dangerous potential pitcher for this organization. And I think the thing that some people forget too is I think he's still got at least a year or two of arbitration left. So like Griffin Canning, like it's not like this is a Severino. I'm gonna Google it just to make sure because I'm pretty sure this is not a Luis Severino where it's a one and done kind of thing. I think Griffin Canning um, has some team control left. And if that's the case, and this turns out to be another hit, I mean, we won't go, like I said, maybe we won't go that far yet. Just see how the season plays out. It's only two starts, but if Griffin Canning is in fact a hit for the Mets, um, that would just be awesome. And I was wrong. He is a UFA, of course. So I thought there was more term on him, but maybe we'll see what happens. I mean, Shamanaya came back. If Canning is, maybe if he has a Shamanaya like here, maybe he comes back. I mean, well, he's not going to go back to the Angels. The Angels suck at developing pitching.
Yeah, so again, that showed when the Mets signed Griffin Canning, I wasn't necessarily pretty happy. I'm going to be honest with that. But one thing I did say, and I think you said that too, is that he came from that organization. So there should definitely be a better year out of Griffin Canning than that the Angels got, because the Mets are just far better in utilizing arms. And if the Mets see something in an arm, that's mostly telling that they see something that they can adjust and make him better. And so far, so good. Also, it's good to see that in his first outing, he used that slider close to 60%. And it's good to see that this team with Griffin Canning adjust to what kind of lineup they face. So not just doing that, but also now in another start, it was more balanced. I think it was now 30 some percent slider, um, high 20s, the changeup, and then 25% fastball is some sort. So still the slider the most, but the other two pitches a lot more. I think it was around that, if I remember it correctly. So good to see. Oh, it is good to see that they adjust to the team that they faces and maybe adjust to what the scouting report would probably say.
Yeah, I think I was just I think I got his age mixed up. That's why I assumed that he had at least another year of arbitration. He's 29 actually. I thought he was more like 28, 27. So I thought maybe there was an extra year in there. So that's why I misspoke. But either way, if Griffin Canning continues on this track, it's just another hit for David Stearns, Jeremy Hefner, and everyone involved in getting Griffin Canning back on track. Speaking of trying to get guys back on track, let's talk about some infielders. Mark Vientos and Brett Baty obviously have not gotten off to starts that they would have preferred. I do think Vientos' at bats have been a little bit better of late. I do think he's had some hard luck at times. but I thought yesterday listening to the game on the radio, um, he had the base hit. He also had that walk to load the bases to get Baty up with one out. I thought that was a very good at bat by him. Um, and unfortunately for Brett, he struck out. He couldn't come through in that situation. Um, what where are you at right now with these guys? We're just 9 games into the season. I know Baty's been a little bit of a platoon guy right now, but Vientos has been the everyday guy, which we expected. Um, but where are you at right now with these guys? What's your level of concern? Is there, are you concerned about Baty, but not so much concerned about Vientos? Are you concerned about both moving forward? What's Corne's read on these two guys in particular?
I like to say it's way too early. I think we're still in that small sample size part of the season with 9 games. But right now, I am a little bit concerned also for Brad Beatty. I think Mark Vientos, like you said, is making better at bats. Mark Vientos did good last year, although I do believe that there will be a little bit of a um, lesser year for Mark Vientos coming up. I think that's a reasonable expectation for Mark Vientos, but I still think Mark Vientos would be a solid hitter in this lineup. For Beatty, it's kind of been the last chance, and with Jeff McNeil coming back, this was really his chance to open some eyes. He had a great spring. After the spring, I really thought, that with that OPS, it was better than his recent springs. He really hit the ball well. He made some adjustments, but when the clock turns to the regular season, he just isn't doing it. And to me, it's it kind of looks like it's a little bit more mental for him than it's his ability. I saw a comment somewhere on Facebook that people say that he has one of the slowest bats in majors. Well, for all those people who think that, if you look at Statcast, it's not that. It's maybe he has one of the. I thought he's even in the upper 75% of bat speed. So his bat speed isn't the problem. Maybe he's out in front. Maybe he's just guessing wrong. He gets 0-2 a lot. I think they said it on the broadcast yesterday. So he's behind in the count a lot. Um, People just challenge Brett Baty right now, and right now he doesn't have an answer. And I truly hope it will turn around, but it has to turn around quickly for him to be the second baseman when Jeff McNeil comes back. And unfortunately, like I said, I also think it's kind of like the last chance for Brett Baty. So I'm worried for Brett Baty.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same way with a guy like Vientos. I know, obviously the numbers right now are not great, uh, but it's a guy I feel comfortable. I think is going to turn it around. I think he hits the ball too well to struggle for the majority of the season. I think he'll get hot and get get back to not like you said, not 2024 Mark Vientos level, but still really really solid production. We could call this the sophomore slump year if you want. I know he's technically not a sophomore for major league service time, but from like full season standpoint, he is. So, um, yeah, I'm not too concerned about Mark Vientos, but Brett Baty, I'm a little concerned about because now it seems like this is just becoming the trend of a great spring camp, and then the regular season turns over, and he's having a hard time barreling up anything and making solid contact. And I hope for his sake that he gets hot, because it'd be great for him, it'd be great for the team. Um, but right now, it's you don't have the confidence maybe that you had at the beginning of the season. And like we said, we're only 9 games in. Week and a half into the season, it could turn around. But right now, I think a lot of people are probably going to be wanting to see Luis Angel Acuna get more starts at second base than Brett Baty at the moment.
Yeah, it's unfortunate because I do believe that Brett Baty could have have a solid year. But the one thing that Brett Baty, I mean, everybody goes through slumps. So um, if Brett Baty had a little bit of a bigger leash, I think that's more like it, like Mark Vientos has. A lot of people wouldn't necessarily be mad, but right now, because he was the guy who desperately needed a good start of the season, and he hasn't gotten that. And that's unfortunate because I obviously think, like you said, Mark Vientos could get hot. I think that's also the case for Brett Baty. He could get hot. He could get better and have a couple of good weeks. But for him, it just needs to be now. And I think that puts on a lot of pressure for him, which obviously doesn't help. Um, because to me, it's too drastic of a change from being that good all spring to being like he is now 1 for a lot, 1 for 22, 1 for 23, whatever it is. It's it's unfortunate.
Yeah, very, very unfortunate. And like you said, with the update they got that Mendoza provided on Jeff McNeil, he's taking swings at 80, 85%. He hasn't participated in on-field batting practice, but the fact that he's back swinging the bat close to 100% um, kind of says where McNeil is trending right now. Um, so time might be a ticking for Brett Baty when it comes to keeping the spot on the major league roster. Also, an update on Francisco Alvarez. He caught a bullpen on opening day. I believe it was it Sanga's bullpen? I don't remember. It was someone's bullpen. But he caught a bullpen. That's obviously good news for a guy who has a fractured bone in his hand, his catching hand. So that's obviously very good to see. And um, it looks like the Mets are starting to get healthy with those two guys. Those are probably the two biggest guys that are currently injured for this team right now. But it looks like they're making their way back. So we hope to see Alvarez and McNeil soon. And while I'm thinking of it, because talking about Francisco Alvarez, uh, tip of the cap to Hayden Sanger. Every opportunity we get, we take it. Started 2 of the 3 games against the Blue Jays because Torrens got beat up a little bit on opening day with some foul balls deflecting off of him. Good on Hayden Sanger. Did pick up another hit. Also drew that walk in Saturday's game that flipped the inning over. I believe it was Saturday's game. It was Saturday or Sunday. I can't remember because those are the 2 games he started. So I'm have a 50-50 shot. But he did have a walk that flipped it over for flipped the batting order over for the Mets, and I believe the Mets did grab some runs in that same inning. So Hayden Sanger, continues to show his worth for this organization, and um, obviously very happy for our boy Hayden.
Yeah, definitely. I think he does better offensively than we expected. Obviously, again, small sample size, but he's probably not gonna be here for that long. So right now, I think he has done uh, everything you hope for and more. So good job on Hayden getting the most of his opportunity and maybe being a guy where the Mets feel comfortable with having him in AAA and having him on the 40-man roster for maybe a future stint. So he made him he made his stint worth it already, I think. So good on Hayden finally getting that chance and making the most of it.
Yeah, I think the game I was thinking about was yesterday's game because he was 1 for 2 and did have a walk and a run scored. So Hayden
You
Sanger,
take that.
take it, take it. Yeah, and I like the point you made, and it was kind of what I was thinking. Having that third catcher on the 40-man roster that has options, and um, yeah, I don't think Hayden Sanger is going to be DFA'd, in my opinion, anytime soon, even when Alvarez comes back. So good on our guy, Hayden Sanger, who obviously grinded through the minor leagues for many, many years and has finally gotten his opportunity. Speaking of the said minor leagues, everyone is now, well, I guess not everyone, if we go into the depths of the organization, but the higher levels of the Mets minor league system are all in action. There was opening day for Double A, High A, and Low A. So those guys are in full swing, and then we will now hand it over to Corne for, I guess, I know we've had our minor league minutes, but we can call those like your spring training reps because now we're into the regular season, so you're going to have a full slate of minor league action to share with us.
Yeah, it's a lot of information, so let's get into it. So first of all, Syracuse, Blade Tidwell wasn't as good in his second outing of the season, and he allowed 4 early runs. He didn't show his strike. He did show his strikeout potential, but he also walked 3 over 3 in the third innings. Zuber helped him out, getting him out of a bases loaded double play to keep his line a little bit better. As he went 1 and 2/3 perfect, Daniel Nunez pitched 2 scoreless innings with 2 strikeouts in that game. So a guy who I will mention later because he had another outing. Celestino homered in a 5-1 Friday loss. On Saturday, Syracuse also lost. Justin Hingerman allowed 2 runs, but the Syracuse bullpen struggled nightly in a lopsided loss. Brandon Sproat had a better outing as he allowed just 1 run and 1 hit over 4. He did strike out just 2 and walk 2. Luis de los Santos drove in 2, and Jose Azocar went deep, driving in 3. I'm sorry, that was a Saturday win, so the game before was probably the Friday game. But the Sunday game, the bullpen melted down after a solid start from Brendan Waddell for Syracuse. Waddell went 4 and 2/3 scoreless innings, striking out 5. The lefty has a 2.16 ERA after his first 2 starts. However, the bullpen allowed 8 runs, with Daniel Nunez allowed 2. Joey Meneses went 3 for 5 with 3 doubles and 2 RBIs in the loss, and John Singleton went 2 for 3. I do something new this year. I add the record, so the Syracuse record is now 3-5. Binghamton had his first 2 games. In game 1, Jack Weniger, a guy who I really like, one of my breakout arms, had a great Double-A debut with 5 scoreless, allowing just 2 hits, 2 walks, with 7 strikeouts in an opening day win. Trey McLaughlin, a guy who you like, struck out 3 over 1 and 2/3 scoreless. On the offensive side, Nick LaRusso drove in 2, and Alex Ramirez went 2 for 4 with an RBI. Sunday's game was a pitching duel as the Rumble Ponies lost 1-0. Nolan Clean was awesome with 4 scoreless, striking out 8 without issuing a walk. Felipe de la Cruz allowed 1 unearned run over 3 innings with 3 strikeouts. And Douglas Orellana threw a scoreless frame with 2 strikeouts. Unfortunately, the offense collected just 3 singles, 1 from Jed Williams and 2 from Riot Young. Their record is obviously now 1-1. Brooklyn, nice offensive day for them in the opener. Carson Bench went 1 for 2 with 3 walks. Jacob Reimer drove in 3, and Christopher Serrero hit a home run in a 2 for 4 day. 2023 7th-round pick Noah Hall went 5 innings of 1-1 ball, having some control issues with 4 walks, but working around it. Saturday was also a good Brooklyn Cyclones offensive day as they scored 15 runs on 20 hits. Jeffrey de los Santos and Starling Mercado had 3 hits. It was more enough for the Cyclones pitching. Last year's 10th-round pick Brennan Geerton pitched 2 and 2/3 innings of 1-run ball, striking out 5. Joel Diaz went 4 scoreless with 4 strikeouts. And 2022 13th rounder plagued by injuries, Dylan Ross struck out 3 in his inning. He has 2 career innings after his comeback with 6 strikeouts. A little less offense in the Sunday game, but still a 4-0 win for the Cyclones. 2 home runs accounted by all the runs. Christopher Serrero hit his 2nd home run of this weekend, 3-1 home run. And Ellie Serrano, the 3rd, hit his 1st for the Cyclones. It was enough for Zach Thornton and the Cyclones bullpen. The lefty Thornton went 5 scoreless innings, striking out 8. Austin Troser went 2 scoreless with 3 strikeouts in relief. A good start for the Brooklyn Cyclones as they are now 3-0. Then the last team, the St. Lucie Mets. Jeremy Rodriguez went 2 for 4, but the St. Lucie Mets got shut down in their opener. Last year's 3rd rounder Nate Dome made his pro debut with 3 1/3 innings of 2-run ball. On Saturday, it was a bad start for Ethan Lantier, who allowed 4 runs over just a third of an inning, just one earned. After the best first inning, where the St. Lucie Mets allowed 5 runs, the pitching held it scoreless for the rest. Christopher Gomez went 2 and 2/3, allowing no earned runs, striking out 5. Last year's 19-rounder Frank Elisalt went 2 1/3 scoreless with 4 strikeouts. It was enough for the offense to come back and win 6-5. Trey Snyder homered and drove in 2. AJ Ewan also drove in 2, and Colin Houck, who needs a good year, had a 2-hit day with a double. And probably the biggest news was on Sunday, the return of Matt Allen, who pitched for the first time since August 2019. Allen was great, going 2 2/3 scoreless, allowing just 2 hits, a walk, while striking out 5. Wasn't the only comeback, as Robert Dominguez also returned to action. His first game action since 2021. He got the loss, walking 3 over 1 1/3, allowing a run. The offense got just 3 hits, 2 from Marco Vargas in a 6-0 loss. A little stumbling on my part there, but overall I got it through.
It's just the first of many for this
Yes.
season, so just
I
gotta
will
get.
get better, people. I will get better. It was a lot. It's a lot of words that I have to say, and a lot of reading. So not used to it after almost like 4 or 5 months, probably like the
Yeah,
last minor league.
September. Yeah,
Yeah,
September 24th.
September.
So I just gotta get back into the flow. That's all.
Yeah,
Uh, and speaking of getting back into the flow, the Mets are looking to continue the momentum they've built really since the end of that Marlins series, as they've won 4 in a row, as they welcome the Marlins to Citi Field for a 3-game series that begins tonight, with Kodai Senga making his first appearance at Citi Field since his start against the Atlanta Braves back in July of 24. He is going up against TBD, that um, looked like it could have been Sandy Alcantara's spot, but because the Marlins got rained out yesterday, I believe. I think Howie Rose said on the radio call, but he is expecting a child with his wife. So he is on the paternity list. So I'm not sure how the Marlins are going to play tonight. At the moment, it is, we'll find out soon. I mean, it's 7:39 in the morning here, so we'll definitely know sometime this afternoon. Could be a bullpen game. Maybe someone gets bumped up. I don't know. But right now it says TBD for the Miami Marlins going up against Kodai Senga, 7:10 first pitch tonight at Citi Field. Tomorrow it is another 7:10 first pitch. Clay Holmes makes his first Citi Field start as a Met. He's going up against Connor Gillespie, who the Mets saw in the series against the Marlins last week. And then Wednesday afternoon, 1:10, it's Tyler McGill going for the Mets. He'll be going up against Max Meyer for the Miami Marlins. So those are your pitching matchups in this 3-game series before the Mets uh, head back out on the road. So definitely get to the ballpark if you can. And with that being said, let's go to our player of the series predictions. So I had the pitcher this time. You have the batter. Um, so I thought about going with a bullpen guy. I thought about going with like a Brazabon or someone like that, but I don't want to be the guy that messes with the flow of Huascar Brazabon or anything like that. So I'm gonna go basic. I'm gonna go with Kodai Senga to have a really good start tonight at Citi Field in front of, I don't know how many people are going to be there. I think the weather tonight's supposed to kind of be like what it was on Saturday. So I don't know if they're going to have 37,000 again. It's also a weeknight, so that might factor in. But I'm going to go with Kodai Senga to have a good start tonight for the New York Mets.
yeah, it's obviously a good pick. Hopefully, a little bit better results for Kodai Senga, because we agreed last time that he pitched well, but he didn't get a lot of results. So let's hope that's the case for Kodai. Hitter, pretty difficult. I don't want to state the obvious. So one guy that has his moments, his fair share of moments, but one guy that I think will have a really red hot kind of series. I hope, is Brandon Nimmo, guy after Pete Alonso. So I'm gonna go with our boy Brandon Nimmo to have a real hot series, type maybe a couple of bombs or something like that, a couple of clutch hits for the New York Mets for Brandon Nimmo, clutch hitter. So it's not maybe a pretty basic, boring pick, but yeah, can't go with Brett Brady a second time too. So let's go with our boy Brandon Nimmo.
Never have to. Every time Brandon Nimmo's name comes up, it always puts a smile on my face. That's my guy. Love me some Brandon Nimmo. So,
Probably a smile on his face too.
well, he's always
Even
smiling.
he's always smiling. So even if he doesn't say something nice, he's still smiling.
What do you think about the beard? I was watching the game with my dad on Saturday night, and he's like, I just can't see Brandon Nimmo with a beard like that. And yeah, he's like, so we'll get your opinion. You like the Brandon Nimmo beard?
I have no opinion
You
about the
have no
Brandon
opinion.
Nimmo.
No, you have no opinion. Okay, great.
I think he should do whatever he wants. So if he likes the beard, he likes the
All right,
beard.
fair enough. Fair enough. Corne he's indifferent on the Brandon Nimmo beard.
How about you? Because you are a big Brandon Nemo fan, you obviously have a lot of posters of him above your bed. So will it be time for you to change your Brandon Nemo posters above your bed with a bearded Brandon Nemo? That's the better question, honestly.
uh, we'll see. We'll see. We'll say that for a lot of my stuff has been moved to my office. Thank you very much. But yeah, I mean, I guess I don't have a strong opinion on it. If he hits a couple bombs, the beard stays. If he struggles a little bit, maybe the beard gets taken off.
Please.
So
Don't let it be a Pete Alonso thing that when he struggles he shaves and things. I know you're kind of like that guy that doesn't change things when the Mets are winning and all your rituals and all your superstitions. But let's just be Pete doing that. That's more than enough. People who are shaving because they are in a slump. I think that's ridiculous. You probably know why, and you probably know that I find that ridiculous because I find your shenanigans also pretty ridiculous.
yes, if you are
But
superstitious, Cornet thinks you're crazy.
I wouldn't say crazy. I just just doesn't matter. We have no influence on the game, Andrew. I said that all the time. You have no influence on the game. Maybe a little bit if you are in the ballpark, by the way. That can influence a little bit. But
That could be
for
the
the
case.
rest, yeah, could be the case for some people today.
But well, I think this is after you ridiculed the superstitious folk. I think this is a great way to end today's episode. As the Mets come off a sweep of the Blue Jays and are looking to do the same against the Miami Marlins these next 3 days at Citi Field. So, Corne, thank you for joining as always, and have fun with these next 3 games. Hopefully, some more wins in their pocket.
Yeah, we gonna win. I almost want to say a sweep, but let's take two, and I'm happy to.
That would be very satisfactory with me if they do exactly what they did last week in Miami and take 2 of 3. So this has been the Queen's Connection, a production of Patent Sports Creative. Make sure to like and subscribe wherever you listen, Spotify or YouTube. Also follow us on social media, Facebook and Twitter, X, Elon's website. Just search the Queen's Connection and give us a like and a follow. So thank you so much for listening and enjoy this 3-game series with the Miami Marlins.